Thank you. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the DuPage County Home Advisory Group for October 4th, 2022. And as a start, I'd like to introduce Amy Phillips, if you haven't met her yet, our new committee and county board member from District 5 that will be helping us out. So welcome aboard. So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order with a roll call.
Okay, Don Bastian.
Here.
Lori Chassie.
Here.
Michael Crandall.
Here.
Paula Garcia.
Here.
William Hennick.
Here.
Kevin Mantles. Lynn LaPlante. Here. Alicia Page. Amy Phillips. Here. Donald Pachowski. Julie Renahan. Here. James A.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment? Okay, thank you. And in the packet, we looking for an approval of the minutes of the Home Advisory Group from June 7th, 2022.
So
Second.
First and second, roll call.
Paula Garcia.
aye.
Julie Renahan.
Aye.
Don Bastian.
Aye.
Lori Chassie.
Aye.
Michael Crandall.
Aye.
William Hennick.
Aye.
Lynn LaPlante.
Aye.
Amy Phillips.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item is an action item. It's a recommendation for approval of the transfer of ownership and assumption of the Home Investment Partnerships Program Requirements Agreement between Myers Common Harmony Housing LLC and Myers Commons Essential Housing LLC for project number HM0405 Myers Commons Senior Housing.
So moved. Second. Whichever. Take your pick.
Who was it?
You can so move her. Second me. Lynn,
Jump in.
Okay. Gotta be fast.
Any staff over comment?
Sure. So this property may be familiar to it. It was sold to Harmony Housing last summer. So this is a relatively, you've seen the same property before. As a reminder, it's still within its 20-year affordability period. We have about 4.5 years to go on that. Anytime there's a transfer within that affordability period, we have a responsibility to vet the entity purchasing the property. We look at their underwriting, their plan for the property to make sure they're going to be able to maintain it as affordable housing, maintain it according to home rules. This entity is purchasing a lot of properties. The transaction is for like 110 properties in Illinois. It's a $1.4 billion transaction, and we are one property within that acquisition. But they are an affordable housing developer. They're originally based out of New Jersey. They're pretty much nationwide at this point. The only thing I would note that we deviated kind of from our normal procedure on this is I did not require a new appraisal for them. There was an appraisal completed in March of 2021. In a normal acquisition project like this, we would require a new appraisal. They asked us to waive that. They were able to document there's been capital improvements on the property. The appraisal from March of 2021 was for $9.8 million. Their purchase price is about 10.6. But like I said, they've made capital improvements on the property. They were able to present to me, I guess, in a way that I was comfortable with not having that requirement done again. The other thing I was just going to note from especially county board member perspective is this is not a tax exempt organization. So this organization is not a 501c3. So they would be paying taxes. They would be potentially eligible for that reduction in assessed value discussion that we had maybe 2 meetings ago. That this is the kind of property that would be eligible for that, but they'll have to determine that down the road. But just from a tax perspective, they wouldn't be paying, or they will be paying taxes. And then we have 4.5 years left in the affordability period and 24.5 years in the mortgage. The biggest responsibility from county is really in that 4.5 period. If something is, they're not able to maintain it as affordable housing in that period, we potentially have to pay HUD back for the whole investment, the whole $1 million. There's about $670,000 left on the property, but we would potentially be liable for that full $1 million. After that 20-year period is completed, there's a little more flexibility in terms of we've met our federal requirement at that point, and then it's just between county and the developer.
A question on it.
Yes.
So the company here, you said that they have a big holding of affordable housing, correct?
Correct.
Is it all in the senior housing or is it for?
They run the gamut.
They do.
They intend to maintain this property as senior housing.
Okay,
But
but they may be interested in projects that might be for people who have older disability children or young adults at this point in
They
time?
may be, right, so this will be a new relationship with us. We don't have any existing projects with this corporation. I think they're kind of entering the Illinois space. I don't think they had a lot of properties in Illinois before this transaction, this large transaction. So yeah, I can't speak specifically to whether
No.
they're interested in that, but yeah, it's a new.
But they do
affordable
have
housing
it in
partner.
with.
Across their
Okay,
whole portfolio, they have non-senior housing.
thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none. We had a first and a second, so we'll go for a roll call vote.
Okay, Lynn LaPlante,
Aye.
Paul Garcia,
Aye.
Don Bastian.
Aye.
Lori Chassie,
Aye.
Michael Crandall.
Aye.
William Hennett.
Aye.
Amy Phillips.
Aye.
Julie Renihan.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next item is a action item recommendation for approval of an additional $1,680,000 preliminary set aside of home investment partnerships funds between DuPage County and Alden Foundation, Addison Horizon Senior Living Community for a total award amount of $5,250,000.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a first and second and staff discussion comment.
So again, one that you've seen before. So they came last year and asked for $3.5 million. They applied for LIHTC credits. I think they put together a pretty competitive application, but were not selected last year. I'm pleased that the person selling the property has agreed to give them hasn't moved on, right? Like that would have been an option. So they are going to go for LIHTC credits again. They've asked for an increased ask, both to address some increased costs that we've all seen out there in terms of materials and labor, but also to make themselves more competitive with LIHTC. They're trying to leverage more funds to make themselves more competitive for the tax credits. It's a big number. It's a lot of eggs in one basket in terms of our home funds. This would potentially we still have 2016 home funds, so we always sort of have a backlog of home funds from previous year, and then we have program income that comes in that kind of impacts that too. So someone we helped with a home buyer loan 15 years ago sells their home, we get money coming back in. That money has to be spent before the grant dollars are spent. So it's kind of this balance back and forth. This is, if we had a wealth of affordable housing projects that we were considering, this may be a large number to put into one project. I have a couple other that I was going to mention in other business, but from where our staff's recommendation is that we should go forward with this. This is a partner that's been effective and has gotten these tax credits before and has been a reliable partner to work with. It is senior housing. This will be senior housing. That's their model. But it is, so the risk, I guess, on county side is that they don't get the tax credits, and then come May, we're sitting on $5 million again, right? So that's sort of the all eggs in one basket, or the lot of eggs in one basket perspective. But we still feel like it's the right move to go forward with this application to approve this as 5.2. I love cleaning up old funds, so if they were to get funded and we could get a lot of that money into this project, that would be good for us going forward. The last thing we want to ever do is give money back to the feds that we couldn't spend. So this would help us catch up on some old money.
Any comments? Okay.
Yeah, I know Alden has been a partner, but unfortunately, they've also been in the news quite a bit. Not necessarily in DuPage County, from what I'm aware of, but there's been some major lawsuits saying inadequate staffing and care leading to injuries and illness. And I guess it just gives me pause in terms of wanting to give more money to this partner. I mean, that is a for-profit nursing facility that makes more than $250 million in annual revenue.
Before you go much further, I had a conversation with Beth Demas right before this. She's the CEO of the Alden Foundation. The Alden Foundation is a separate non-for-profit organization that has no legal connection to the Alden that's experiencing the challenges with their for-profit. So
Okay, so they offset basically their things like this, like it's a way.
they are unrelated organizations.
Okay.
She said they pitch it as the Alden Network, but they are not, there is no legal connection between the for-profit Alden that is currently facing this class action suit and the Alden Foundation, a separate non-for-profit that does basically affordable senior housing.
Okay, that helps quite a bit,
Yeah,
Mary.
no, I know,
Thank you.
this issue has come up before because that for-profit Alden has had their challenges for a long time. And so I kind of wish the Alden Foundation would change their name so that, yeah, because obviously we would not want to be giving $5 million to an organization.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions, comments, items for discussion? Okay, then go ahead with the roll call vote.
Paula Garcia,
Aye.
Lori Chassie. Aye. John Bastian.
Aye.
Michael Crandall.
Aye.
William Henneth.
Aye.
Lynn LaPlante.
Aye.
Amy Phillips.
Aye.
Julie Renihan.
Aye.
Thank you. Other business, I know staff wanted to offer a couple comments.
Yeah, I have two. One is we finally did get our 2022 money, which we talked about before. So that money came in. It's officially on our books. So it is almost the end of 2022, but we do have 2022 money, so that's a good thing. The other one is you may have seen another affordable housing article in the paper. City of Naperville approved, their council approved the use of county or city controlled property for affordable housing. They've selected a developer for that. It's on 103rd and Route 59. We anticipate them applying for about $1.9 million in funding from us. It's technically outside of DuPage County, but it's within the city of Naperville, so it's within the authority of this group. So that's another potential new project that's going on. Big advantage is that they have city control already of it. They've already passed all the city council kind of community approval steps, so they're in good shape for that project going forward. We expect an application in the next couple weeks.
Is that project applying for tax credit?
They are doing the same thing. So this is part of the challenge of our allocation is that we are often the second party in terms of funding. The tax credits being the biggest. So we don't have projects necessarily that we can just green light on our own. A lot of times we are the second. They're looking for the biggest chunk of money would come from the tax credits, and then we would be potentially the second. So it's kind of that, it's the same situation. If we come out of this next year with, so we found out about, this should all be public in May of 23. So in May of 23, we may have 2 projects going forward. We may have 1 project going forward. We may have 0 projects going forward, but that's kind of the situation we're faced with home funds.
And what is the process for getting the tax credits?
So it's a complicated competitive process that the state dictates and the state runs. So there's different ways you can score more points or score low points based on what population you're surveying or based on what census tract area you're in. Both of these developers are familiar with it, have worked through it before. But it's the variable that we never really know is how many people are going to apply. So, you know, you can sort of see the state allocation of it. You can see how much money is available, but is it going to be a year where a whole bunch of people apply and that's very competitive? Is it going to be a year where there's less applications and then maybe a lower point total gets funded? That's sort of an unknown until.
And then have a better chance of getting it if there are less people that applied, obviously.
So that's sort of the one that's not, you know, it's unknown at this point.
And it's frustrating because in fact, I mentioned this, I was in a conversation with Kristen Faust, who's the executive director of IDA. That's the organization that does the tax credit application process. And I said, you know, our home funds are almost entirely dependent on tax credit projects because we get 1.8-ish million a year in home funds. It's not enough to fund a standalone project. And where our funds really work well is when they're connected to a tax credit project. Mm-hmm. But if IDA doesn't select a tax credit project in DuPage, then we're just kind of waiting. So, you know, I said to her, like, is there some other way that we can work together? So she's open to a conversation. I'll be following up with her on that. But I think a lot of communities like ours are very dependent on the tax credit process and being that gap financing for tax credit projects.
That's all I have for other.
Okay. Anything else from the group? Okay, then I'll look for, I'm sorry.
Weren't you gonna say would you just been appointed to?
Yeah, so I'll mention, I think all the, well, except for Member Phillips, all the board members heard this at HHS, but I'm part of the National Association of Counties, and I was recently appointed to the NACO Housing Stability Task Force. It's going to be a new kind of subcommittee. There's about 30 individuals from around the country who were selected by NACO. I haven't seen the final list, but what I learned sort of during the early process was that there's about 30, of the 30, about 25, I think, are either commissioners or assessors or otherwise elected officials, and it looks like about 5 of us are from sort of the practitioner perspective, county employees for the most part. So our kickoff meetings in November in DC, and then we've got, I think we'll have monthly meetings, some remote, some in-person in different locations, and then to have a report compiled and published at the July annual conference of NACO. So excited about it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, best of luck. Anything we can do to help you out,
Oh,
let us
yeah.
know.
Right. Well, between, my colleagues here and then my colleagues through NASED, I feel like I'm gonna have a really nice opportunity to sort of advocate for, suburban issues related to affordable housing, and also hopefully be the voice of a practitioner with a little bit of kind of practical knowledge that I hope I'll be helpful. So
You will be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm excited.
Great to hear about that. Okay, any other items? Okay, hearing none, then we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. With our next meeting on November 1st, so have a good day.